says, Teresa, if it was, it would be illegal. He goes, wholesaling real estate. He said, you don't need a mortgage. You don't need a down payment. And he says, and you can do multiple of these deals, anytime that you want because you don't have to qualify. And so I leaned into him, and honest to goodness, I kind of looked both ways. I looked out my window to make sure no one could see. And I leans into him and I goes, Rick, I said, be honest with me. I said, is this legal? And he starts to laugh and he goes, yes, Teresa. He goes, of course it's legal. He says, I've been doing it for years. He said, he says, it's putting an offer in on a property, getting it under contract, selling that contract and getting paid. Really at that moment, I mean, I was hooked. Like I looked at him and I said, all right, like you have to teach me everything you know. And he said, all right, but he says, I got a few conditions for you. And I said, okay. I said, anything, like just, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm a sponge. And he said, first of all, you're going to have to invest in yourself. And I said, well, I already know that I can invest in me because I already know I'm working hard. And he said, second thing is he says, you're going to have, you're going to realize, he said, money isn't going to rain down on you. You're not just all of a sudden going to make one call, go see one place, money's going to hit your bank account and you're going to be rich. And he said, and I said, okay. I said, I get that. It's not a get rich quick scheme. He says, Teresa, if it was, it would be illegal. And I'm like, okay, fair. And then he said, the third thing, he says, the most important thing I want you to promise me. And I'm like, sure, Rick, what is it? And he looked at me and he said, don't quit on yourself. Don't quit before the money happens. And I looked at him and I said, all right. I said, what do I got to do? Like, fine, I'll mentor you. And that's what he did. He literally took me under his wing. He taught me everything, everything that he knew about this business. And I've literally, because of that moment, because of a decision that I made during one of the happiest, lowest times of my life, almost combined into one with my first house, and literally taking that experience, trusting one other person, grabbing onto him like he was a life preserver, saying, teach me, mentor me, tell me what I need to do, and following his system. And that was the freedom for me of what it's allowed me to do from being 20 years old back then to 57 now.